again, and then Rasulullah ﷺ gave those items again. And he continued to give those items away until he spent everything that he had. Then Rasulullah ﷺ said to the companions, to his companions, he said, مَا يَكُمْ مِنْ خَيْرٍ فَلَنْ أَدَّخِرُهُ عَنْكُمْ. He said, whatever goodness that I have, whatever good that I have, I will never hold back from you. In other words, you're worried about what I'm giving away. Forget this. Everything that I have, which is going to be beneficial for you, I am never going to hold that back from you. وَمَنْ يَسْتَعْفِفْ يُعِفَّهُ اللَّهُ. And whoever has self-control, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow this person to have self-control. وَمَنْ يَسْتَغْنِي يُغْنِهِ اللَّهُ. And whoever is content, whoever is content, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make this person content. So what these two terms mean, we did this hadith yesterday, but we were not live on YouTube yesterday, so just as a brief recap. So وَمَنْ يَسْتَعْفِفْ يُعِفَّهُ اللَّهُ. What this means is, a person who has self-control, does not have greed, etc. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes this person stronger. وَمَنْ يَسْتَغْنِي يُغْنِهِ اللَّهُ. And whoever is happy with what you have, in other words, whoever is happy with what they have, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes them happy with what they have. وَمَنْ يَتَصَبَّرْ يُصَبِّرْهُ اللَّهُ. And whoever tries to adopt patience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes them patient. Whoever tries to adopt patience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows this person to adopt patience. In other words, it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that allows this person to have more patience. وَمَا أُعْطِيَ أَحَدٌ عَطَاءً خَيْرًا وَأَوْسَعَ مِنَ الصَّبْرِ. And no one has been given more good, no one has been given this bounty or this gift which is more valuable than patience. وعن أبي يحيى صهيب بن سنان رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم عجبا لأمر المؤمن إن أمره كله له خير وليس ذلك لأحد إلا للمؤمن إن أصابته سراء شكر فله خيرا له فكان خيرا له وإن أصابته ضراء صبر فكان خيرا له. رواه Muslim. It is narrated by Yahya Suhaib ibn Sinan radiyallahu ta'ala anhu that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, strange is the situation of a believer. Strange is the situation of a believer. In what sense? إِنَّ أَمْرَهُ كُلَّهُ لَهُ خَيْرٌ. Everything that happens to this believer is good for this person. وَلَيْسَ ذَلِكَ لِأَحَدٍ إِلَّا لِلْمُؤْمِنِ. And all of these things that happen to a mu'min, all of these good things that happen to a mu'min, happen only to a believer. So what this means is, in other words, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying that how a believer lives one's life in its true essence, the way we ought to, It's amazing. This is what Rasulullah ﷺ is saying. It's amazing. It's what Rasulullah ﷺ is saying, that it's amazing how the life of a believer is. It's amazing how the life of a believer is. That everything that happens to this believer is good for him or her. So we may reflect and think to ourselves that, okay, this is what happened to me in my life, and this is not good. There are situations where we definitely say to ourselves that, yes, this is definitely not good for us. Well, the challenge is that we're looking at our own situations based on our vantage point here in our lives. If you look at the bigger picture, the challenges we go through, at the end of the day, are good for us. When you ask for strength, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you challenges to make you stronger. When you ask for patience, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts you through situations that allows you to become more patient. If you are trying to control your anger, if you're trying to adopt this quality of hilm, which is basically a quality where a person controls one's anger, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will put you through situations that will allow you to build yourself in that manner. And that's simply the way this world works. Understand? That is simply how this world works. So, let's say for example, I got sick last month. Well, there are narrations that mention that Rasulullah ﷺ said that a person in this world, a believer that is patient, even when this believer gets pricked by a thorn, there's tremendous reward behind it. When something like that happens in life, like you're walking and you get, like you step on a thorn or something, or something hurtful happens, if you are patient with that situation, then even that thing that you and I may think that there's no reward behind it, it turns out that there's tremendous reward behind that as well. A person who passes away due to an ailment of the stomach, this person dies as a shaheed, as a martyr. So, in other words, there is tremendous reward that we receive due to the challenges that we face in life, given the fact that we are patient. You get a headache, you're patient, you get reward from Allah. I'll give you another example. A lot of us make dua and we don't see that dua coming true. Whereas that dua, in fact, does get accepted. There's a difference between the expectation I have of my dua versus that dua being accepted. Just because that dua I made, that dua does not mean that that is going to be immediately be present in my life. So there are a lot of times that you will ask for something, you will make dua, and you may not see that happen in your life. You may not even see that ever in your life. You may never see that in your life. But that does not mean that your dua is not accepted. You understand? So as I was saying is that how we define how dua is accepted is us expecting that the dua immediately materializes. And chances are, what we're asking for, we may not understand. We don't have enough wisdom to see that. But what we may be asking for may be detrimental for us, may be harmful for us. How is this related to this hadith? Is you may have been making dua for something for X amount of years, and just because you don't see that dua materializing does not mean that Allah dislikes you, that Allah hates you, or anything like that. We need to have full trust in Allah, that Allah is all-wise, and we are weak, feeble, forgetful, sinful human beings. Before I continue with the hadith, it comes in a narration that a person will come on the Day of Judgment, and this person will see mountains of good deeds. And this person will ask, I don't remember doing these deeds. I don't remember any of this. So this person will be told that these good deeds that you see is the result of all the dua that you made but did not materialize in your life. So in lieu of that, in exchange of that dua materializing in your life, you got this reward. So that person, some scholars mention that that person, when that person will see that reward, that person will wish that I was better off not having any of my dua being materialized in this world. Right? So every situation that a mu'min faces, every situation we face as a believer, there's some kind of good in it. And this is the type of attitude and mindset we need to adopt, is when something that we think is bad happens, for us to learn to be optimistic and say, there must be some wisdom behind this. There is wisdom behind it, we don't understand. But there must be some khair, some goodness behind it. And there are multiple examples that we find throughout the world where that person did not, like for example, a person missed a flight, and that person was frustrated that he or she missed that flight, but then that flight had some problems and the people passed away. The flight crashed and the people passed away. So that person was like, oh, you know what, I was better off not on that flight. See what I mean? So there are many examples that you may have also witnessed in your life as well, that you said to yourself that, you know what, at that time, that did not happen, but later on, I've learned that I was better off that did not happen to me, or did not go my way. So, as a believer, we need to remember that we're always winning. As long as we are patient, as long as we are not ungrateful, we are always on the positive plus side. إن أصابته سراء شكر فكان خيرا له وإن أصابته ضراء صبر فكان خيرا له. إن أصابته سراء شكر. When this believer, this mu'min, this mu'minah, when he or she comes across some kind of goodness, this person is thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the quality of a believer, and this is part of good character, is that every time something good happens to you, you say Alhamdulillah. You praise Allah. You got like something good happens to you, thank Allah. You may achieve something in life. Don't forget that it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that allowed you to do that. Part of good character is remembering Allah in goodness. And this is the quality of a believer. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاءُ صَبَرًا. And whenever this believer is faced with a challenge, what this believer does is adopts patience. So as a believer, as a Muslim and Muslimah living today, part of good character, part of Islamic character, part of prophetic character, akhlaq, is you're constantly in the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how everything's going to happen to you, either is going to be good or bad, according to your definition. What you believe is good for you, you thank Allah, you appreciate Allah. Anything that happens to you which is bad, something bad happens to you, you get sick, you fall, all of these things are happening to you in your life. You're being tested by Allah in various ways. Adopting patience and asking Allah for help. Many of you may have witnessed this so far in your lives, is when, and here's the thing, when a lot of you guys get older, you'll learn this sooner or later. Okay, I've learned this because I turned 30 months ago. So you catch on with people. With all due respect, you catch on with how people are in this world. Okay, this is like some personal advice that I'm giving you. Is that unfortunately, there will be people in your life that will reach out to you only when they need you. Okay? If you did not know that, or if you did not realize that by now, well, today you learned that. Sometimes in life, I'm not saying you begin to be judgmental, and you start to think that, oh, everyone is after me, and then become paranoid, and then you lock yourself in your room, and then you attempt to take your life. Like, no, we don't want that kind of downward spiral. But what I'm saying is, be smart enough to see that coming from a mile away. That out of nowhere, someone calls you. And sometimes, right, this may sound like out of character for me, but sometimes I get to the point, how may I help you? Someone calls me after like 8 months. Oh yeah. So I know myself. So how could I help you? Because come on, why would a person call me, right? You know what I mean? So don't run with that, and then you become like a narrow-minded person. Musa, you have a very bad habit of poking people with that pencil, and that is not cool. Do you understand that? Do you want other people to poke you with that pencil? Yes or no? So why do you do that to people around you? Don't do that again. So, as I was saying, what I'm saying is how that connects with this hadith is, don't only remember Allah when you're in need of Allah. In other words, don't make dua to Allah only when you need Him. Learn to thank Allah as well. When you thank Allah in prosperity, when things are going for you, when good things are happening to you, you're constantly thanking Allah, then when you are being tested, chances are Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help you. Like the chances are higher that when you are being tested by Allah, since you've been remembering Allah during health, wealth, prosperity, all of these good things, and the list goes on, is that when you're being tested by Allah and you ask Allah for help, Allah will actually do something about it. Are you guys with me? So, as a believer, part of good character is whenever something good happens to you, you thank Allah, you appreciate Allah. What will this result in? This will allow you to develop humility. Why? Because you will continue to discredit yourself. When you discredit yourself and you give all the credit to Allah, you are adopting humility. You are becoming humble more and more every day. Humility is not like physically you're putting your head down and your shoulders down, you're walking. Like those are some indicators of humility, but it's very much possible that you're acting like a humble person, but your heart is full of pride. Understand? So, again, part of good character is remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when life is good, when things are going your way. Anything that good happens to you, thank Allah, appreciate Allah. What this will result in is you becoming humble. You will not be able to develop pride in that aspect when you're constantly giving all the credit to Allah. Yes, Allah. Humble is the opposite of pride. So let me put it this way. Humility, or being humble, is to have this realization that I am not, that I don't deserve the things that I have. I don't like this sounds very negative, or like very like an insecurity that, okay, not having enough confidence. But you're confident as a Muslim, but you're not prideful. You don't think you're better than people, right? You acknowledge and see the faults in yourself. When someone corrects you, you don't get angry, or you don't take it personally when someone corrects you of your mistake. Right? You don't start fighting them just because they correct you when they see you do something wrong, etc. So again, part of good character is discrediting yourself and crediting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for everything good that's happening to you. And that is done by appreciating Allah, saying Alhamdulillah when good things happen. This is why, this is how Islam is. The day of Eid is a joyous occasion, but we pray an extra prayer on Eid. It's something we celebrate, but we celebrate through the remembrance of Allah. Similarly, when someone gets married, walima, Walima is a sunnah. Feeding people. It's a joyous occasion, happy occasion. But you celebrate by remembering Allah, by feeding people for the pleasure of Allah. Similarly, aqiqah, when a child is born, an animal or two animals that are slaughtered, that is done out of happiness, out of joy. And Allah blessed us with this child. You are celebrating through the remembrance of Allah. On the flip side, someone passes away. You pray, you offer janaza salah, salatul janaza. What is that? You are remembering Allah in sorrow. This hadith is practically demonstrated in our lives, but we just need to connect the dots and see how that pans out. So in asabathu sarra'u shakara. When a believer is faced with something which is good, with some khair, some happiness, this person appreciates Allah, this person remembers Allah. فَكَانَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ. And this is good for this person. وَإِنْ أَصَابَتْهُ ضَرَّاءُ صَبَرَ فَكَانَ خَيْرٌ لَهُ. And whenever a believer is faced with some kind of difficulty, challenge, roadblocks, obstacles, anything that you're going through in life, you're trying to accomplish something and you can't get to it because you have these different things that are preventing you from doing all of that, then to have patience with that, that is what is good for you. So just as when we are faced with something which is good or joyous, we remember Allah. Similarly, when we are facing any kind of challenge in life, some difficulty, we adopt patience and we remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وروي عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن هذه الأخلاق من الله ومن أراد الله به خيرا منحه خلقا حسنا ومن أراد به سوءا منحه خلقا سيئا. It is narrated by Abu Hurairah رضي الله تعالى عنه, Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم said, verily good character a very good character is a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فَمَنْ أَرَادَ اللَّهُ بِهِ خَيْرًا مَنَحَهُ خُلُقًا حَسَنًا. Whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes good for this person, for whichever person Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wishes good for, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allows this person to adopt good character. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easier for this person to adopt good character. وَمَنْ أَرَادَ بِهِ سُوءًا مَنَحَهُ خُلُقًا سَيِّئًا. And whoever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not want to show His mercy to, then for that person it becomes extremely difficult for that person to adopt good character. So the purpose of this, the chapter here in this book, what the mu'allif, the compiler, has mentioned is good character is a blessing of Allah, and we need to ask Allah to bless us with good character. See, Good character is not just one or two things that you're done. No. There are a lot of things that contribute towards good character. Right? And we've covered many of them, and you're writing things down, hopefully, so that you remember. So a lot of small things lead to bigger things in good character. For example, 20 good habits lead to a person becoming a person with good character. It's not okay, a person only has this, and okay, this person, no. It's a multitude of things that when a person has in his or her life, this person is then adopting good character. So it is important that we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for good character. We ask Allah. We make dua. When we're making dua and we're asking for everything else that we're asking for, include good character in that. When you're making dua for your parents, your teachers, and everyone around you and for the world, whoever you're making dua for, make dua for yourself that Allah blesses you with good character. Because good character is the tawfiq of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is a great blessing of Allah for a person to have good character. Understand? And it is not up to you and I that we get to decide, oh, okay, you know what, I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have bad character or good character. No, we try, of course we try. We practice upon all of these ahadith. We bring these ahadith into our lives. But the rest we leave unto Allah. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us enough patience and enough zeal, enough courage, enough humility, enough sincerity, and other qualities necessary for us to become the people of good character. It comes in Abu Dawud. Abu Dawud is a book of hadith. It comes in Abu Dawud that the heaviest deed on the Day of Judgment will be good character. Again, the heaviest deed. This differentiates from many other things. Because apparently it appears that this hadith is contradicting other hadith. That's what knowledge is. But the point is, look at the selective wording we're using. The heaviest deed on the Day of Judgment is going to be good character. And the first day of class, on Monday, I believe, yes, on Monday, we did talk about this. What's the point of you praying 5 times a day, fasting all year, praying tahajjud, qiyamul layl, tarawih, fasting, giving zakah, sadaqah, sadaqatul fitr, doing udhiyah, qurbani, all of these things, but that if your character is no bueno, if your character is not good, then everything you've worked for will be gone, will be taken away by all those people that a person has wronged. Good character is recognizing the rights of the people, recognizing the rights of the people when it comes to money, when it comes to business, when it comes to family and all of that. So remember, as a Muslim, part of good character is remembering Allah whenever something good happens to you. This will allow you to become humble. discredit yourself and give all credit to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And don't get me wrong, I'm not implying that you lose all confidence in life. No, there's a big difference between the two. You remain as a confident young Muslimah. Understand? You stand up for yourself. You don't allow yourself to be used, and use your intelligence. Be intelligent enough to see someone who's trying to use you from a mile away. All of those things are separate from what I'm saying. Discrediting yourself. And number two, when something bad happens to you, remember Allah, be patient. Doing so is part of good character. Second hadith we did today, hadith number 7, is having good character is a great blessing of Allah. Therefore, if you and I want good character, we need to ask Allah to bless us with good character. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll continue on Monday. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallahi wa bihamdihi, wa ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka. Monday.